As I leave the cemetery following his funeral, I can't help but think about why my friend had to die. Of all people to be involved in an accident, why him? Why did things have to get so dark in my life all of a sudden? He was always so careful, so safe. In another world he would have lived. In another world. The thought keeps pestering me for days. In another world. In another world. Could it be that my world is just darker than the others? Is there a way for me to jump from my world to something like another timeline where everything might be good? Where there are no wars? Just peace? Where he's still alive? I worked tirelessly to create a device, something that will let me travel through timelines. Everyone I talked to said it couldn't be done, even the most daring of scientists. I'm more determined than them, though. I know I can do this. I've been working on it for months now. Then the months become years. Sometimes I've made giant leaps. Sometimes I've almost given up. I know I can do it, though. I have to. Then, one day, I finally have it. I hold the device in my hand. I don't know where it will take me. I have to try, though, to save my friend. I press the button on my device. I see a flash of light, and I'm whisked away from the world I know. I arrive in some sort of garden or forest. I don't know where exactly, but it has a feeling of peace. Everything here just seems right, as if it is the perfect world. I wander around a bit, but I see no sign of people. Maybe it is the perfect world, I think to myself. I quickly decide to leave, though, and head off to see what else I can find. I see many other worlds as I jump around the timelines. One is more advanced than I could have imagined. Another seems abandoned inexplicably. But then I arrive at the worst one of all. People were running left and right. Buildings that looked like they'd once been great had been reduced to rubble. I hear explosions everywhere. I see people in pain all over the place, puddles of blood, and men with guns shooting at an enemy I could not see. Clearly this was a far darker timeline than my own. I can't stand seeing a world like this. How many more dark timelines are there? Are some even worse than this? How can people even survive in these? Then I realize something. Maybe I can change this. Maybe I can go back to points of divergence, places where the world changed in the timelines, and stop the darkness from happening. I don't know where it started, but I can try to find out. After all, I have a device that lets me jump between timelines. With a few tweaks I can change it to let me travel time instead. Another explosion goes off. I can't work here. It's too dangerous, unsafe, too dark. I have to get away. I quickly press the button on my device and return to my own timeline. Once there, I fix my device so I can travel time, to the main nodes on the timeline, to major points of divergence into new timelines. This is no longer about finding a timeline where I can see my friend again. My goal is to stop all the darkness from escaping in the first place now. I press the button, and am pulled back in time to the nearest node, not knowing what I will find. I arrive inside a building. I've been to so many nodes on the timeline at this point, but this one seems different. I can't tell what it is, but there's something unusual about it. As I look around, I quickly realize that I'm in a hospital. I know that something must have happened here, as it was one of the places I could travel to. But what could it be? I see a woman lying in bed. A man, probably her husband, looks into her arms. As I get a better look, I realize that she is holding a newborn child. Is this child the crucial point to fixing the timelines? Then it hits me. This is not just any family. This is my family. And that's me in my mother's arms. Why was I brought to the scene of my own birth? Could it be that it's the moment that affects the future timelines? That my birth changed the world? As I traveled to other time nodes, I saw nations fall, dictators rise, and wars break out. Those types of events clearly affected the world in ways that changed it forever. Why was my birth so important? Perhaps I am meant to change the world. Perhaps it's my destiny to end the dark timelines. That I will stop the darkness from ever beginning and make one true timeline filled with good. Maybe it's just a personal node. One that only I could reach. Because it was important to me. That's why I was taken here. It's too much to think about right now. I need to find the origin of the dark. I press the button to leave the hospital. Nothing happens. I press it again, but still nothing. I'm frustrated and start pressing it rapidly. The device finally works, but I have hit it too many times. It seems to be malfunctioning now. It feels a strange twist and I'm taken away. When everything finally settles down, I'm able to focus on where I am. The more I look, though, the less I see. I'm nowhere. Yet, at the same time, this is somewhere. All I could see was nothing, but the nothing feels like something. A place is not a place, perhaps. I don't know why I keep looking around. There's nothing to see. Just a great void. I come to the conclusion that my device's malfunction has prevented it from taking me to a real point. So it took me here. It seems fine now, though, so I may as well go somewhere else in the timeline. I set it to take me away from here. Just as I'm about to press the button, though, I hear something. Just a small, faint moan. I twist around a few times, still seeing nothing. But it's still there. The moaning doesn't stop. I turn around one more time, and suddenly I see a figure huddled up. I walk over to ask it where I am. It looks like a man in black. "Excuse me, sir, but can you tell me where I am?" I can barely make out a few mumbles. "Sir, can you talk?" Without glancing at me, the man responds louder this time, but does not answer my question. All I can understand is him saying, "I am. I am not. I exist. I do not exist." Frustrated, I try one more time. "Can you tell me where I am?" "I am. I am not. I exist. I do not exist." The man in black is no use to me. I turn around to leave. For a brief moment, I feel a connection to him. Something familiar, but I cannot place it. I guess I pity him. How alone, how empty he must feel in the void. No timeline for him to call home. There's nothing I can do, though. He's crazy. I press the button, and I am off. I found it! I finally located the beginning. The original node. I can do this. I can change everything. Stop the darkness. Save my friend. Save everyone. I hold down on my device, and I am pulled into the time warp again. I arrive, and all I see is beauty. I'm in a garden. The most beautiful garden I've ever seen. More beautiful than anything I can even imagine. It was as if I was in paradise. I walk around the garden for a bit. There is no sign of any population. There's life everywhere, though. If this is what the time before the dark is like, where everything is so beautiful, then it is far greater than I could have ever predicted. Then it hits me. I've been here before, and I jump between the timelines. This is a garden that I thought could be perfect. This is it. This is the prime timeline. There must be something here, I think. I've been so careful not to change anything at other nodes so far, just in case. I haven't wanted to risk changing anything in the future without being sure that the darkness is gone. That's when I see her. She was reaching up into the most incredible tree I've ever seen. It was majestic, looked so full of life, and for some reason, it seems to give off knowledge, too. I watch her carefully, knowing that she must affect us all in some way. She takes an apple off a branch. There's something about this that bothers me. She's looking at it carefully, almost as if she's tempted to eat it. She looks very unsure. Then I realize that the apple is wrong. She should not eat it. She cannot eat it. Without a second thought, I make a mad dash towards her. This is my only chance. I have to stop the darkness from escaping. It comes from the apple, I just know it. My heart is racing. Time seems to stand still. The apple is on her lips. I gather all my strength to dive at her, and I slap the apple out of her hand. Many things happen at once. The apple falls to the ground, bounces a few times, and then sits still. Out of nowhere, I hear a snake hissing, almost angrily. The woman stares at me for a few seconds and then runs off into the trees. But all of this was insignificant to what I just felt. I did not feel joy. I did not feel like I had just saved everyone I knew. I did not feel heroic. I felt empty. Like I had just changed everything, but something was lost. I was afraid. I need to go home. I need to see my friends and family. make sure that they are alright, that I did in fact save my friend. I need to be reassured. I hold down on my device. I'm off. When I come to, I see nothing. No people, no places. Suddenly I realize what's happening. I realize that I did destroy the darkness. But I did much more than that. Now I know why my birth was so important, why I was taken there. I destroyed my own timeline by stopping the woman. There's nothing left, just the void of what once was. By trying to save my world, I destroyed it. And now there's nothing left there. Just emptiness. The void. I am. I am not. I exist. I do not exist. All around me is emptiness. The void. I tried to get home, but I can't. Home is gone now. I can't be happy because I have no place. And since I have no home to return to, I ended up here. The void has taken its place. The void is my home now. I sit huddled. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do but stay. I'm so lonely. So sad. So foolish to think that I could change everything. I hear a voice. "Excuse me, sir, but can you tell me where I am?" I can only reply in a mumble. "Sir? Can you talk?" I barely gather enough strength to speak out loud. I don't know who is talking. I can't even look at them. All I can do is hope that, if they are on the same path as I was, I can warn them of the fate. But all I can say is, I am. I am not. I exist. I do not exist. I don't know where they went after that. They seem to be long gone now. Of course, long doesn't mean much to me anymore. Only one thing means anything now. I am. I am not. I exist. I do not exist.